What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of 486. This is episode 23, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade. Also, the final episode of this season, at least.
Yeah, so you can tell, like, the people at A1 really put a lot of effort into this episode, considering that they had 3 months to work on this alongside the previous one.
Yeah, I mean, the definitely, like, it's the quality of this episode, or the last two episodes in particular, have been like pretty much top notch. Like they've looked really great. I mean,
Yeah,
you can tell they've had a long time to work on this.
Yeah, so well, pretty much the entire episode is really focused on both Shin and Lena's perspectives for each half of the episode. So the first half of the episode, we see Shin and his friends and Frederica return to Ernst's home to celebrate. I think, what was that Christmas-like holiday they called it? It was called the Holy Birth Holiday.
Yeah, it was something like that, but it was obviously Christmas.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just like we pretty much see them indulging in in pretty much in regular activities rather than on the battlefield. We see Anju cooking again. We see I keep forgetting
Theo.
everyone else's name. I think Theo doing his artwork. Raiden, I think he still works for that shipping business, or he's just doing something else at this point. And fuck, I forgot who the last one is. She goes out shopping.
Oh yeah, I think it was Kurina.
Kurina goes out shopping again, and then Shin decides to go to Eugene's grave, pretty much to pay his respects, and pretty much, I guess, in his way, apologize for not being able to save him. Instead of killing him outright for him to be assimilated. But he gets confronted by, I think, one of the other soldiers who had a lot of animosity towards Shin, and he admits that he was the one who forced Eugene's sister to write those letters to Shin, like the ones that said, like, why did you kill my brother, and so and so. But he realizes that that he was in the wrong for doing that, and decides just to respect him after what he did, contributing to in that last battle.
Yeah, so they kind of make their peace with each other in a way. Shin in a way sort of forgives him and ends up walking off, and of course coincidentally passes by Eugene's sister, and Eugene's sister kind of sees him as he's just walking off into the distance.
Yeah, and of course she realizes that the person she passed is Shin, and she of course gives her thanks for taking care of her brother in the end. So it was a nice way to end off this part of Shin's storyline. And then of course Shin goes back into the 86 memorial and finally leaves behind Shorei's tag, showing that he pretty much accepted and moved on from his death, and now is pretty much determined to continue his mission to save everyone else and let them move on in their lives.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was I was kind of surprised. It seemed like this is one of those episodes where it seemed like it could have ended a few different times in the episode, and I was kind of surprised to see it was still going. He's after the whole thing with Shin, and then of course we finally get to catch up with what Lena's up to.
Yeah, well, when you said how you thought the episode is over, you noticed the end credit sequence.
Yeah, that's another thing that could kind of trip me up a little bit, because we see the credits, and we have music playing, we see the credits and all that, and I was thinking and I looked at the episode time, I was like, is this 9 minutes in or something like that, or not 9, but it was, I was just thinking this is weird, why is this happening at this point? but yeah, I think it just comes down to how the episode was directed, and I really like how it was directed. Like, where it seems like we have like a like I said, a few different points to where some things get kind of nicely wrapped up, but there's still more to go. Like we did mention how we didn't really get to see what Lena was doing throughout most of the season, and I feel like this episode does an okay job at kind of, in a way, kind of filling us in a little bit as to what she's been up to.
Yeah. However, we only get to see her perspective, like only on I guess after the events.
Yeah, after everything already happened.
Yeah, because I would have really liked to know what she was doing after the Legion ended up attacking her home city, and what she was doing to survive with the other members of the 86. But yeah, it's we pretty much get like her side of the story during these time events. So she goes back to her hometown, and then like she goes back into her room, which is of course like turned into a wreck after what happened when the Legion attacked, and she pretty much goes back and picks up her belongings, including all of her like little drawings of the 86 members from the original Spearhead Squadron, and she pretty much mentions everything that has happened since then. They mentioned that with the help of the what was it, with the Jihad Federacy? No, not what was it? The
I think it was the Jihad Federacy. Yeah.
So they came in and helped out to help retake District 1 from the Legion, and it pretty much like becomes more of a safe haven for a lot of the remaining refugees over there, and we see them like well, actually before this, like Lena mentions that the remaining members of the 86 are free to join the Federacy and given the opportunity to become citizens there, while at the same time that they're also acting, I guess you could say they're acting somewhat as a police force in what remains of the Republic now, and you can clearly still see they still have a lot of animosity towards the citizens there. Same thing with vice versa towards the 86 members.
Yeah, you see some of the surviving Alba, I guess they were from the what was it, or from the Republic or whatever, who was still obviously are still like very much prejudiced against the 86. Although I'll be honest, I didn't really expect the city to be completely just destroyed, kind of off screen by the Legion, and then I guess their society kind of breaking down as a result, and the 86 are not really being oppressed like they were anymore. So I think that's kind of interesting. I hope if we get a season 2, we actually get to see like maybe the destruction, or kind of what happened, what we didn't get to see in this season.
We did barely see what happened, like in a very brief scene in which Lena is helping to fight off the Legion forces attacking the city.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of it. Yeah.
But of course, soon afterwards, she reports to her uncle, who assigns her to be transferred to lead what was it, a new unit in the Federacy, but she never gets told who she's being ordered to lead, and like you see like a clipboard of the names of the people that she's leading, but you notice like a lot of the names are just blacked out. Yeah, and you also notice that her uncle acted a lot differently than he did when he treated her at the beginning of this season. Just pretty much like, I don't know. You see like two members of the former members of the 86 just overlooking this conversation, just with kind of an antagonistic look, like just watching this conversation.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Maybe it just boils down to the 86 still, obviously are very much, don't have high regard for the Alpa or whatever. That could be what it is. Which would make sense.
Yeah. So so she Lena finally goes to the Confederacy, and then she pretty much gives a final narration of what happened to the city. That, like, despite some citizens showing animosity to the 86, she noticed that, like, not all of them have like that same animosity towards them. Like, some members of the Republic, including some of the Alba, had a bit of a change of heart for members of the Confederacy, helping them retake their city from the Legion. So yeah, with Lena arriving at the Confederacy, she finally goes to the same memorial that what was it, that Shin went to earlier on in that episode, and then she pretty much just drops off like the box of the drawings that she had with the original members of the Spearhead Squadron.
This was another point where I thought the episode was ending because of the way like things were going, and I was like thinking like this would be like a fitting way to end, but it still wasn't over. And also they were playing the opening song too, so
yeah, and then of course soon afterwards, I guess you could call this a post-credit scene of some sorts. So she finally for the very first time comes face to face with Shin and the other members of the
and we also see like kind of harkening back to the first part of the season with the Fido, I think the Fido robot kind of recording the different 86 members, and like I guess them like talking to Fido and then talking to each other. I thought that was kind of interesting, and they show that first, and then of course like you said, they show that the 86 members finally meeting up with Lena.
Yeah,
which I was surprised. I actually didn't think it would end that way. I thought that would maybe happen in a potential second season, but I guess I guess they actually did manage to end it that way in this season with them meeting with Lena.
I thought it was a fitting way to end this season.
Yeah, I agree.
Not all. Even though this is the end of the season, they're like they do drop some hints that there probably will be a second season, because obviously the fight's not over, and I think Ernst mentions that even though that they destroyed the Morpho and held back members, some of the Legion, it's just what was it? The Legion's manufacturing factories have not been destroyed, and they're likely to continue the fight against them.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it's far from over. I mean, obviously we know the light novels are still going and all that, so there's definitely more. But even if, I'll be honest, like, even if there wasn't more, I feel like I'm mostly satisfied with the way this all ended. It's like, it feels like the narrative that was like set up in the beginning of the season kind of in a way came full circle. Like, obviously there's still some things that are left open, like, obviously the entire war with the Legion and all that, but the whole, like, the thing with Shin and the 86 and Shin's character arc, it felt like it kind of, in a way, it kind of came full circle along with, what Lena was trying to do. Because of the Legion attack, the Alba, her society is kind of gone into disarray, and the 86 are, no longer really being oppressed the way they were. And she also ends up meeting up with Shin and the others. So in a way, it kind of feels like everything that was set up has kind of concluded itself. Even though obviously there's definitely more to the story, of course. But I think for the most part, it seems like the story that was told in the anime has, it concluded pretty nicely, I would say, with this episode. But yeah, I liked how they ended there, especially like I like the directing of the scene where Lena meets up with the 86, or and especially where she meets with Shin. Like, just the way it was directed, and the way the direction goes along with the music was, honestly, I thought was perfect. Like, it fit really well.
What's also pretty interesting is you see them about to hold hands for the very first time, but I didn't notice that. Yeah, like it. But you notice their shadows of the hand like formed an 8 and a 6 at the same time, which of course leads to the final title card of the 86. So I thought
that was perfect. Like, I really have no complaints about this episode, honestly. I mean, it was delayed, and that sucks, but I think it was definitely worth it. worth the wait for
Yeah.
for these last 2 episodes.
Yeah, it was definitely worth a wait. But I was hoping that like we could have seen this like a little bit earlier had it not been for those production issues from before. But I thought like this is definitely worth the wait, and I think it did give the the production team a lot of plenty of time to finish off in a way that they wanted to.
Yeah, like I've been saying before, I hope that if there is a season 2, that we don't have these same production issues like we had with this season. I really hope they have the time they need to make something good, because I think they've definitely the director. I think the credit also really needs to be given for the director too, especially since if what I heard is correct, if this really is his first time directing, like what he's put out is really, really goddamn impressive. Like I want to see more from him. I really would like to see him, actually given the time he needs to, make another season or something, or even make something else. I'd watch it if I just saw his name attached to it. I'd probably be interested.
Supposedly, they're gonna have like the special 86 event being held in Japan next month. So it's possible that we might get an announcement for a new season. But in regards to when that's going to come out, that'll all depend. And hopefully, like if they do announce a release date, that they'll be given them, enough time to work on it rather than being rushed like they did, in the second half of this first season.
Yeah, here's hoping we get some announcement for another season. But yeah, this episode was great, and I think the season overall was just really good. It's definitely got me interested in maybe sometime picking up either the manga or the light novels and seeing what if we don't get a season 2, like maybe reading ahead or something, because I'm really interested in what the story and of course just the way everything was adapted. It's just incredible. I mean, I don't know anything about the light novels, but just like I said, the directing and the animation from A1 and all that's been really stellar. So yeah, I really don't have anything negative to say about these last couple episodes. They've been really great, and of course just the season as a whole has been pretty good. It's a decent mecha and decent kind of war drama. I don't really have too many complaints about it, honestly. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about this episode.
How would you rate this? Like, out of 10?
I'd probably give it an 8. I mean, 8 or a 9 maybe. It's I don't know. I'm really debating between an 8 or 9. I can't say for sure, because there was some just like I said. I felt like these last 2 episodes are definitely the standout in terms of just visual quality and the way that everything was put together.
Yeah, I mean the show itself has a lot of symbolism and foreshadowing certain events too, and including putting a lot of focus on Shin this part of the season, on his state of mind of where he's at.
I liked how they did that as well. How they kind of like psychologically went into Shin's state of mind and his Shin's psychological state in certain scenes, him having to kill his comrades and just how he's kind of traumatized basically because of that.
So I definitely enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll get an announcement for season 2, and hopefully it'll be done more properly this time. But we'll have to wait and see what the news is going to bring.
So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.